She gave me the cat and then walked off. Okay, and so that's it. We're live. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. We're going to have a really good time. We're going to look at some super rad reports. Hakeem, I haven't asked you. It's early morning for you, right?
Yes, indeed. Down under, yeah. It's 7 a.m. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a pretty good song. I come from the land down under, right? That's like
definitely. Yeah,
probably the only one.
yeah. I messed up with the time zone the other day, and I thought that it was yesterday that I was supposed to join. And I was like, oh, what's
Oh,
happening?
I know. The conversion is really, really hard
Oh,
from
yeah.
the United States to
Sometimes,
Australia.
yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, but we made it. So we're here on the right day
Yeah,
at the right time. It's perfect. So I had to, usually, I'd have a little construction shirt or something, but I had to represent Arkansas today. So all of our famous Southern football fans are going to get a little ouchie for that. Hopefully nobody turns off, but we just had to say pig suey, right? So we've got that. Yeah. Well, awesome. Okay. So we've given some time for people to kind of jump on in. And did you want to go ahead? And I heard you might have something for us to look at before we get into the demo, right?
Yes, indeed. I hope that you can see my screen.
Let's see.
Yeah.
How about this one?
Yeah, it should be this one. That's perfect.
Okay.
Here, so thanks again for having me on your stream here.
Sure.
I really appreciate this opportunity to introduce the platform Acuite Construction Intelligence. So basically, as you said, here it's 7 a.m. Maybe people are wondering where I am. Well, down under in Australia. So I will do just a quick introduction. So my name is Hakeem. I'm the head of sales at Acuite. As I mentioned, we're an Australian-based business, and I'm personally based in Melbourne. The co-founder David is also based in Melbourne, and we have our staff disseminated in Australia and also in New Zealand.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting for us, obviously, to have an audience in the US. And you may have noticed that I don't have an nosy accent, but a strong French one. Just apologies in advance for my mistakes. I promise I won't speak like this, with this very strong accent. But yeah, basically, joke aside, like I said, I'm very excited to be with you today and introduce the platform and what we do.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. So tell us then where you are from. If it's not from Australia and you don't have the Australian accent, where are you from?
Oh, yeah. So I'm from France. Was born and raised in Paris. So unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to go to attend the Olympic Games.
Oh, wow.
That sucked a little bit, but it's all right. But yeah, so did most of my career in Europe, between France and Germany, and I've been living in Australia for about 8 years now. So Australia's home.
Okay.
Even though, of course, I still love Paris and France. Who doesn't?
Right. Who doesn't?
And,
You haven't gotten bit by any dangerous venomous animals yet, so that's awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, this was the thing that most of people who said, "Oh, you're going to Australia, but be careful with sharks, spiders," and I was, no, it should be fine. But yeah, I think Australia has the top 8 most dangerous animals in the world or something like that. But no, pretty safe here. Pretty safe here.
Well, good. Hopefully, it's that city life.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's awesome here, and yeah, with the business, with Acuite, everything is going really well as well. So yeah, like I said, very excited to be able to introduce this to a broader audience, obviously, and yes, as you mentioned, I prepared a few slides just to introduce what we do and who we are. It's just going to last about 5-8 minutes, and obviously then we'll dive into the solution, so everyone will be able to discover and see what we do. So
yes, this is going to be awesome. So this is really a product for, what I hear a lot in construction it doesn't matter who I talk to, the reporting is a problem, right? And a lot of people are still inside those Excel spreadsheets, or they're data dumping from their accounting system into Excel every month in order to get that, WIP information and monitor things. So this is an awesome find for everybody. So let's take a look.
Indeed, you nailed it. This is one of the main challenges. I'm going to tackle that and illustrate that in a few slides. But basically, what I wanted to showcase here. So this is the very brief agenda that I prepared for our session. Like I said, it's just going to last about 5 minutes to introduce who we are, what we do, the solution, and obviously I'll jump into the platform to showcase the tool in action. So, yes, very briefly, who is Acuite? So I wanted to start with this particular slide here to showcase that we are only focused on the construction industry. And we basically serve head contractors, owners, developers, specialized contractors, no matter the size, specialty, or location, obviously, since they all share the same challenges, and you mentioned one of them. And this is what we're trying to solve, and I'll address that pretty soon. Having said that, with Acuite, what we do basically is that we offer a solution that becomes the go-to platform for projects, corporate, client reporting, and dashboard, if it makes sense. We basically integrate with your favorite construction tools. As you can see, a few samples here. We pull the data, and then we can easily create dashboards to track project and portfolio performance. Either it's about quality and safety, program, and as we'll see in detail later, financials reporting here. As you said, you started to tackle that, but and I will showcase that during the live demo, but the system has been designed to address two critical challenges. So the challenge number one is basically that most of construction firms, I mean, those that have adopted some level of technology, obviously, they typically use multiple tech platforms for operations, as you can see on the screen, like communication, quality, safety, program, and above all, financials, right? Yeah. And basically, while tracking one aspect of a single project is pretty straightforward, the complexity starts increasing significantly when you're trying to monitor or analyze multiple areas, across several projects or even divisions or businesses, right? And these firms, they often rely either using the solutions built-in reporting features, or, as you mentioned, exporting data to Excel and trying to manipulate it to try to make sense out of that. Or the ones that are a little bit more sophisticated, I should say, they start diving into traditional business intelligence tools, like Power BI, for instance. And what we find out is that this approach is very time-consuming. It's quite costly as well when you're trying to connect everything all together. And in the end, it's just, well, it becomes quickly unsustainable, and risky for the business. So,
yeah. And Hakeem, what I really hate, or what I hear a lot of people hate, is that even if they are utilizing something like Power BI, we still have those folks that we need to take care of that want that PDF paper feel, and you can't really print, right? So Power BI was meant to be a live tool. And so as far as extracting a solid report or something that you can hand to a bank, right, or include in your monthly project status report, it's kind of lacking.
Exactly, you know that. It's exactly it. So Power BI, and I'll address that in the next slide, is a great tool for data visualization. Basically, it's nice. Sure. But you will be confronted to lots of limitations. And like I said, I'll address that to the next slide, but you basically nailed it as well here. So just to tackle again this challenge number one, with Acuite, we solve this challenge by integrating with basically your current construction tools. And after an easy setup and data mapping, we automatically pull this data and we create ready-to-use dashboards and reports, which hopefully, and this is what our client shared with us, help them save time and give this instant project insight that they need to drive their business successfully. So this is one of the main challenge. And challenge number 2, this is what you mentioned with Power BI. So basically, these firms that want to improve their reporting game, they often try to handle analytics in-house
Right.
with the people that have, like, let's say, an IT department that has some knowledge and skills around that. Or if they don't, or the resource, and if they don't, they'll try hire a third-party consultant, right? But in both cases, they're going to be using a tool similar to Power BI, and they're going to often run into these limitations. And one of the limitations that you mentioned, it's very basic. For instance, printing. So you don't want to do those screenshots and copy and paste things like that all the time. But yeah, this is the reality, obviously. But what aside from the integration here, as you can see on the screen, are the 6, let's say, most common constraints that people who let's say engage with us shared. And yeah, it tackles, like, for instance, how can I quickly create my own dashboard, for instance. So it's about autonomy. How can I'm not an expert, I don't have the skills or the know-how. I have the ability to create a dashboard, but where do I start? So yeah, people always face this blank canvas syndrome, if I may say. I think that, okay, I have access to this Power BI tool, but what can I do with it, and how does it work? So it can be quite tricky. The other ones, it's all about security and permission controls. With tools like that, it's either you see things or you can't. There's no level of granularity, which is quite difficult if you want only people to see certain KPIs or information. One of the big one as well, it's everything related to real-time data. Most of the time, people using traditional BI tools always rely on data that is outdated because it's updated once a day or twice a day. So you have to wait for the next update, refresh, to see what things are going on.
Can we pause right there, Hakeem? Because the real-time data, right next to printing, that one is like huge for me. So one of my biggest constraints we'll say back in the day, right, was that people needed to do updates. Let's say they were forecasting in Procore, right? And to be able to translate that information to Sage and then print a report from Sage was a bit, like you're saying, outdated and just not the best use of our time, right? And so even if we did make the perfect dashboard in Power BI, that constraint, and even if we didn't want to print it, right, we still need real life, real time data. And so tell us more about that one. So how is it that you can go change something in another platform and then have your dashboard or report run in Acuite and get that real time data? What's the difference there?
So basically, the way it works with Acuite, with most of the application that we integrate to, we do those API calls, obviously, but then depending on certain configuration or the amount of data that needs to be handled, some organization, let's say, decides not to have this real-time, let's say, access. So with Acuite, we refresh the information. We can configure that, but we refresh information every 30 to 45 minutes. And at any point in time, let's say you're updating your Procore data in Procore, and you're about to start a meeting in the next 5 minutes, you won't need to wait for the next refresh schedule. If you have the right permission in Acuite, you can press a button. It's called the sync on demand. So it's like sync from Procore. You will click that button, and the system will update. It's incremental, so it will only pull updates, basically. So in 30 to 45 seconds, you will have your dashboard refreshed with the latest information, and then you're ready for your meeting, if I may say. So
Okay, that's phenomenal. Yeah. So 5 minutes, not that we encourage it, right? As a previous accountant, I cannot encourage you to update a report 5 minutes before your meeting, but you could if you needed to.
Exactly. The right permissions, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So yeah, real-time data is something quite important. The other one as well that I've highlighted is the configurability. So
Yeah.
this is one also of the constraints that you may face when it's like, oh, I want to update this dashboard. I want to change the terminology because we need to adapt to a specific project. Or you need to do this particular change, but you have, I don't know, maybe 20 dashboards in the business, so you have to edit each one of them. Or something even more basic, you just want to reorder your tables because you want to see some specific numbers, at the beginning of the table, not at the end, or things like that. So something that should be pretty straightforward, but yeah, in BI tools, it can be quite challenging, if I may say.
Yeah, to say the least, right?
Indeed, and the last one is something that you may also have experienced. It's everything related to interactivity. So when I say interactivity, people think, oh, it's about filtering the information, but I'm not talking about filtering. It's more about I need to capture information that cannot be captured in the data source system, in Procore or Sage or whatever. You need to add contextual information. You need to manually enter some data because it's required to be able to trigger some calculations, for instance, or things like that. So in tools like Power BI, this is not possible because these tools are made for visualizing data, not to add necessarily contextual information. So yeah, having said that, these are basically the challenges that Acuite helps you solve. And yeah, it's been a great journey so far, because basically I think you would have understood, but we are not Power BI based, and we developed it from scratch. So yeah, that's why we can easily cover these challenges.
Yeah, because we're just grabbing specific data points, right? And saying, hey, I want this one from this platform to feed this answer, right?
Exactly, or have like a tabular view, like a table similar to Excel, because people are quite comfortable with this view, and be like, oh, my first two columns, I need information from the project details. So I want the start date and end date. And then the next columns that I want to have, I want them to be focused on financial information, but I want to restructure it quickly. How can I do that? So yeah, we basically try to democratize access to construction data and and let's say, yeah, help our client and anyone who wants to join, obviously, to manipulate the data easily to meet their requirements and the client's requirements, obviously. So yeah, we're trying to simplify the process as much as possible. The other thing that I wanted to tackle as well, obviously, it's when it comes to integration. I didn't mention it before, but we did the heavy lifting because this is one of the key things as well. When you introduce those BI solution, you need to integrate that. You need to build a data model. You need to pull the data, how it has to be structured, so you can generate the dashboard properly, understanding this, API endpoints, documentation, and things like that. Well, we did that basically for the tools that we integrate, and what we need for most of them, it's only a user account, username, password with the right permissions, and for some of them an API key, and voila, we can pull the data and start building the dashboard. And this is our current library of construction tools that we connect seamlessly. I've also added some that are coming soon that working on or plan to work on. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's say we try to be agnostic here, so it doesn't matter which tool you are really using. You can have different combinations. You can be using Procore for project management, correspondence, health and safety, quality program, and have financials for and have a Sage 300 for financials, and Procure Pro from procurement, and we can have this combined data to build this dashboard. Or maybe 95% of your project on Procore, but with one particular customer, the client decided that you need to use a different system for health and safety, and you have to use one breadcrumb, for instance, or you have to use another tool. Like I said, we're completely agnostic. So all the dashboards that you will have set up for your organization, the front end is not going to change. The link, what's behind, is going to be slightly different. But everything is going to be still consistent, if I may say.
Yeah, because it'll feed in, right? So then tell me, Hakeem, what should somebody do if, let's say that they're using 3 out of 4 of these systems, but they don't see that fourth one on your list? What kind of thing should they do then? Should they reach out and say, hey, are you guys working on this one?
So yes, this is one way to do it. Indeed, I'm sure you have guessed that, but we're receiving lots of requests to integrate with lots of platform, and we have to be somehow strategic and prioritize things, because obviously this kind of things takes time. And to be completely fair, there are some platforms that we will never be connected to, either because we can't, or there's some work that needs to be done from the source system to allow APIs, for instance. Or to, sorry, not to allow APIs, I would say to build those APIs and make them available for the specific endpoints that we need to pick, for instance. Maybe they won't be able to do that. I didn't put it here, but we also have integration with Microsoft Office, so Word, and we are redoing our Excel integration. So I would say that this would probably be the easiest way. If there are like a tool that you're using and you need to have this data into the platform as well, so you have this 360 overview of your project, probably this Excel integration. Not that I like Excel, but it's the reality. It's still going to be used a lot. So having this data, let's say, dumped into Excel and pushed to the system can also be a way to make sure that not only you're going to have this automated dashboard with the data being pulled from tools like Procore, but you can also have the data coming from a system that we can't connect, or we won't be able to connect yet. So we still have lots of different options, but yeah, just reach out and we can start a conversation, that's for sure.
Awesome.
All right. What's the next slide? Oh yes, the live demo now.
Oh, it's time! I'm so excited. Okay, let's put our banner up.
All right, so I'm gonna switch my screen. I hope that you can see that. Oh, what did I do here? Yeah, here. So I think you should be fine. You should be able to see my screen. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Perfect. So the Acuite platform can be used on a laptop, any browser. We don't have a specific app. This is web responsive. So basically, if you want to access your dashboard on a tablet or a smartphone, you can just open a browser, go to acuite.io and log in, and you will have access to all these visuals that you're allowed to see. What I wanted to do first of all is to explain a bit how things are structured in Acuite. So from a user interface perspective, on the left side, this is your navigation panel. where you can access your portfolio dashboard. So when I say portfolio, it can mean two things in Acuite. The first one is this corporate view when you have access to it's the highest level where all the data are aggregated, and you can access all information, let's say all the data from your organization. And then you have the project level dashboards. So you need to select a project to view this specific dashboard. And we also have another portfolio view that we call the divisional view, where basically you can group projects together in a meaningful way. It could be per the company department, it can be per state, it can be per type of project, it can be per locations. You have different ways to do that. So depending on how you want to do your reporting, especially the financial reporting, this is another way to view the data. So we have the corporate level. Then for some organizations, they have another tier, which will be the divisional level. And then we have the project level. And for each of these level, we have the modules. So Acuite has 5 core modules. We have financials, programs, quality and safety, risk and opportunities, and communication. So everything related to RFIs, for instance, change requests, and things like that. So for each of those levels, you can go into a specific module and see the different dashboards that are available for that. So this is the navigation panel. Then obviously on the right side, this is where you will have access to the dashboard and see all the data. I'll go into more detail in a sec. And then at the very top, you have your filtering. So this is very important, especially for the financial reporting when you want to quickly switch to a specific reporting period to see how things are going. And the more action here, it's where the magic happens as well, when you can basically edit the dashboard and change the layout and add what we call a widget and things like that. So what I wanted to do first is to take you to a project level dashboard. I'm going to go to this particular project here. So I'm on this project, and as I said, we have the key modules on the left side. So because we can collect and combine all the data together, you could have a dashboard similar to this one that will show you the key metrics for this particular project. Either it's financials, or program, or quality, or health and safety. I'm just going to remove this reporting period here, where you can see the data, how it is updated very quickly. So this is one of the things. I didn't mention it. Maybe I can dive into that later. But the way we integrate things in Acuite, like I said, it's pretty simple and straightforward. We only need those logging details, the right permissions, and for some of the tools, this API key. And then we're going to do we're going to start the mapping process. So a field in Acuite will be linked to a specific field in the source system, like in Procore Financials, a specific field in the budget view, for instance. But what we can do as well is that we can create fields in Acuite that could be a combination of fields in the source system or not. We can how do we say this? We can customize, let's say, the field that we want to use and have specific formulas like field A plus B times X equal this particular data. So this is not the source system, but we can create that in order to have the right information that we want to display in the dashboard. So Acuite allows this. It's quite flexible. But yeah, having said that, this is the let's say project summary view, and I'm going to go to a particular dashboard here. So I'm in the financials module. I'm going to go to summary. So this is, again, everything that you see here are dashboards that can be, edited, renamed, all that things. But here, this is the project financial summary dashboard where I have metrics really focused on financials. And as you can see, we have lots of different visuals in the tool. We have cards to display, for instance, in a particular case, the forecast final turnover, final cost, the margin to date. We have other visuals that allow you to combine information to be a bit more condensed and just showcase the key topic here. Your cash flow position, for instance, with the trend chart. And then here we have an example of a tabular view where you can basically edit the different lines, rows and columns pretty easily. And one thing that we do well, and it's used most of the time, obviously, it's what we call the point-in-time reporting. So it's a very nice and easy way to access the data from the past, for instance. So at the very top, you have this filter, and we try to follow from a financial perspective, obviously, the reporting periods. So you can just click here, select a particular year or month, and in 2 clicks, now I can directly see what was the financial situation of this project in March 2023. You need to change that to view how it was 2 months prior to that. In just a couple of clicks, you have access to this data. So you don't need to do like snapshots or things like that. Everything is stored in the system. Especially if you add this contextual information, like an executive summaries or just basic notes. As you can see, in January, I have nothing here. But if I go back to March, I have much more detail that I can display.
Nice.
So quite good when you need to prepare a report that either for the top management or for your clients. You can add this information that you can print as well easily. One of the things as well, when you start navigating around, you want to keep this reporting period here, so you can click remember filter, and from now, every time I navigate and I go to a different financial dashboard, for instance, this will be this reporting period that will be displayed directly. So this was the summary. If I go now, for instance, to this forecast final turnover, I will have, again, different type of visuals that I can have here. Contract value turnover, client variation summary. So everything is completely customizable. It's not because it's named like that in the source system that it has to be this particular label here in the tool. So you can change that quite easily, and I'm going to show you that. If I go into forecast final cost again, very other type of visuals as well. Something quite interesting, because security is also quite important for us. If I go back to this summary here, you can see that the dashboard summary notes are displayed. So I can just click read more and I can see the data. But if someone is behind me and looking at my screen, I could see this information. I'm going to forecast final cost. It's again just to showcase the configurability. Here I have a summary dashboards, but the data is not displayed by default. So you can always access it, but you can decide if you want it to be visually, let's say, available on your screen, or just behind this banner in a way. When you're going to print to give that to your top management or product manager or the client, of course it will be printed directly. But yeah, just wanted to highlight this configurability thing because it can be quite important. Cost conversion, like I said, we have the ability as well to group cost codes like into preliminaries and salary summary, for instance, or trade letting, which is great to digest, all this financial data and try to quickly see where things might be leaking, This is another example of a visual chart that you can explore directly with the different data point, and you can also, start selecting the bar, the graph, to have a bit more information. I'm just gonna zoom out, and basically, yeah. The configurability, like I said, it's quite key in Acuite, and you don't need to be an expert, like I mentioned when I was presenting a different slide, and to be able to change that when you have the right permission. At the very top, you have this more actions, and you can edit your dashboard, and from there you can go into a specific. You know what? Let's go into this. Forecast final turnover again. Well, no, let's go to the summary. Easier. Just wanted to showcase this key indicator. This is quite key. So if I go back into more action and edit dashboard, this is where you can rearrange, let's say, your dashboard easily. You can, change the size. If you like a specific widget, this is how we call our visual, you can add new ones, or you can just duplicate the widget directly here that you can then just, change in terms of settings. So you want to change the name, you want to change the configuration, you want to add some specific help text, or add particular links to an internal process. Like I said, with the configuration, there are a lot of options. You don't need to be an expert. You just, we try to make the front end very, very easy to digest from an end user perspective. Basically, you can just select the relevant field that you want to use for this particular visual. So let's say margin to date. And you have other options, obviously. Here you have conditional formatting. You can add some specific filters. So this was the margin to date. I'm just going to rename this widget margin to date. Everything is all right. I click save. I'm just going to make this one a bit bigger here. Save the dashboard. And that's about it. As you can see, I added this particular widget here with this information. And the beauty of it is that, like I said, when you need to update your dashboard and you want to keep this consistency and everything streamlined across all the projects, you don't need to do it for each project. The dashboards can be linked together in a template. And basically, this widget that I've added here has been added to all the other projects in the business. Of course, there is always this capability of adding a dashboard specifically for a project that must not be linked to all the others. So everything that's in there must not be, let's say, duplicated or reproduced to the other project. But yeah, this is a time saver. And at any time,
you knew what I was going to ask, right? But can we change it just for one project? Because a lot of times they run into either that one owner, or maybe because they're building a school, whatever that reason is. But something's got to be a little bit different, and so that's also that you can do both company templates, and then we can have owner templates or department templates.
Exactly, you can completely do that. So you can keep the specific template for the whole business, and because we operate under an unlimited model, so there's no limitation in terms of how many dashboards you can create. So if for a particular project you want to have like a specific customer view, you can do that very very easily. One last thing in terms of configurability, for instance, this is where I ask that also quite often. It's how to add new columns to see previous data. So as you can see in this particular one, it's pretty easy and straightforward, if I may say, to navigate and manipulate here. So if I click on add column, I'm just gonna add let's say data. I mean, I want to see the data for 3 months ago, so I can be like previous, let's say 3 months. I want to show the date. It will be, sorry, specific reporting period. So previous 3 months, and I want to look back 3 months. I click save. Oh, sorry, I should obviously take it and put it here. Made a little mistake in the label. Up, save, and you have your column with the right information straight away. So again, no need to go into this particular BI tool, try to understand how to manipulate things, change the data model whatsoever. You can quickly add the data here straight away, and when you're changing your reporting period, obviously it's gonna update that. So yeah, it's as easy as this. I'm just going to go back to this final forecast cost, because what I wanted to show you as well is the fact that it's not only about how should I say, data visualization. Obviously, as you saw, we can add some contextual information. With this summary, for instance, that you can easily create a date. You can have some sort of a template as well in here to help the project manager enter, I would say, critical information that needs to be part of the reporting. And we also have some widgets that allow, they allow you to fill the gap in some way. So, for instance, we have this cost detail widget where basically you will see your cost codes. You can specify which column you want to display. I'm going to put it in full screen. And very importantly, you have the ability to add comments against this, this cost line item to give more contextual information as well, and explain a variance, either it's a positive or negative. So you can quickly go in here and start typing as seen with the PM.
As seen on TV. No, I'm just kidding. I love this that you can leave notes in so many different places, because this is what I used to call them when I was doing training back in the day, was love notes, right? And so sometimes you need a good love note, either to future self or to an auditor, or I say auditor. I was thinking about banks, but then I thought about sometimes our owners have their own project managers and they want to look over all these reports and they've got questions. So if you can leave a good love note in there, then hopefully you can prevent, an email or a phone call or a meeting.
Oh, definitely. So you have, with this commenting, let's say, capabilities, we have different ways to tackle that. So there is this note against a specific cost code, and when you change reporting period, so if there was no note, in the previous one, of course it won't be displayed. But for the next reporting period, the comment will still be there as a reminder. And if it's no longer, I would say, valid, you can delete it. It's not going to delete what happened previously, but at least you know that for the current reporting period, this is no longer valid. The other thing as well is that for each widget, we have this comment button where you can leave a comment, and everyone who has access to it could leave a comment. Must not forget to do whatever, and then this is going to be here, and someone can respond. You can have this some sort of a back and forth. I won't say conversation, but at least a comment. And if you don't want to forget everything, you can click again on comment and switch to the task mode, where you can assign a task to someone against this particular widget. Please make sure you review all the comments from last month. And by saving, Haley here will receive a notification with the link to this particular dashboard, so she can perform the action. And once it's done, she can respond. And if I'm happy with it, I can. Sorry, it's not. Oops, I'll go back here. Here, and when I'm happy with it, I can just close the action, and then I have the complete history, if I may say. So this is also a way to help in internal processes, compliance, make sure that the PM reviewed, or whoever needs to do that, obviously. We were talking about the terminology the other day together. We say contract admin here, and I think it's a site accountant, as you said.
It's a job accountant. Yes.
A job accountant.
Isn't that funny? They're different everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, they could be doing this, and you keep track of everything. And when you see this orange comment, you know that there's something here, obviously. Mm-hmm. So yeah, cost detail, and then we also have a cost forecasting capability. I won't necessarily go into that because most of the time it's done in the ERP tool, like Procore has a very good cost forecasting tool. And if I go into the cash flow dashboard, still to mention this filling the gap with the other system. We could do the forecasting in Acuite, but if it's done in the data source system, it's great. But when I say fill the gap, is that some systems don't have necessarily the revenue forecasting. Or they're not doing the revenue forecasting in that particular data source. So this can be performed as well in Acuite. We have a specific widget here that allow you to, either it's cost code or the schedule values, let's say that it's visible here. And let me just make sure that I'm going to remove the reporting period, so I'm using live information here.
No, you're good. I was gonna help everybody out because usually we don't hear revenue forecasting, but it is something that's done, right? So usually, our project managers are worried about predominantly that job cost, right? How much is it going to cost for me to complete this project? That's where they focus. That's where their skills are. But we do have a need, right? Especially sometimes to watch that revenue and what it's going to be and guess and forecast for what the revenue will be. It's not just about the cost, but what's going to be our revenue there.
Indeed. And what I'm going to show you here, it's basically, we can also do the same, as I said, from a cost perspective. But the idea, indeed, is to simplify the work for the PMs, especially from a reporting perspective. But if it can help them capture information that, like I said, they cannot capture that elsewhere, it's also time saving. So basically, here what you can do, you have all this let's say cost codes, even though there's no specific code, but schedule values data here. You can filter directly to see what's left to finish, and you want to forecast that. So basically, you can click on Edit Revenue Forecasting, and you have different ways to do so. Either it's a dollar value or percentage, or you can just click, you know what, I'm going to spread the balance to finish for the whole table. So you click this this button, the system will just take what's left to spread. You can change the forecast date. I'm going to be like, okay, it's going to be from January until December, and then you have different options to forecast. Linear, front-loaded, S-curve, bell curve. We also have two options that are not displayed here, but they are reversed S-curve and reversed bell curve. And you apply the spread, and it's going to be forecasted, and then you can just save, and everything it's basically captured there. So awesome. This is quite good. Very briefly, we'll just go back to the portfolio level. So I was highly focusing on the project, but all the data that it's happening on the project will be automatically aggregated, so you can have this let's say divisional view, or if you don't have any division, it can be just the corporate view. So I'm just going to go into this particular division called the Evolution Queensland. So it's only projects that are located or linked to the Queensland office. And here, as you can see, we have different way of displaying the financial data. So the work in progress, it's quite similar to an Excel spreadsheet, and you saw the tabular view, so it can be quite long. And you decide, obviously, when you set this up, how you want to group the data, what you want to group, and how you want to group it. Like I showcased before, it's very straightforward and easy to configure and change whatever needs to be changed. You can add columns. You can add columns. You can add columns group. If I go to, for instance, this field here, margin, you can, of course, decide from where the data is coming from. Either it's a cost module in Procore, or maybe the program, or etc. You can do quite a lot. If I go here, margin movement, for instance, no, it's a field, but basically what I wanted to show here is that you could have basically a formula, and then you can just enter the formula here that you want. We have some help, text to explain to you how it can work, but it can be just column A plus column B divided by column C. It gives you a figure basically, and it's going to be captured in here. The other thing as well, as I mentioned, it's the ability to edit the data in the table. So you may have some information here that can be changed or updated to trigger some specific calculation. And this is also from here that you can, in order to support this point-in-time reporting, this is where you can leverage the month-end lock-off process. So this is done automatically in most of the ERP solution, and we mimic that. That's why when you select a reporting period, we follow the accounting date, so we know that the data will be properly, let's say, adjusted. But if you're using a solution that doesn't have this month-end lock-off process, you can still use Acuite to help you with this particular process. So yeah, we can easily lock, let's say, a dashboard. That means that the data won't be pulled from the source system, let's say Procore, and then you can have two levels of reviews, like it's been approved and then it's been finalized. So it can be locked by a job accountant, then it can be approved by the PM, and finally it will be the, I don't know, VP financials or whoever, or the financial controller, whoever is at the higher level that can finalize the data review to make sure that, okay, for this period we're all good, and then you can just keep going.
I love that. I don't know, Hakeem, if you know that the WIP is actually very close, near and dear to my heart. And so being able to just go in there and say A plus B divided by C, right? That's exactly what those columns are made out of. And that's what they're monitoring is what's there. And so that's an awesome one. And then to be able to freeze it independently of your accounting system. A little dangerous, but we definitely want to have somebody that knows when and how to push that button, right?
No, definitely. And we keep track of everything. We know who logged the dashboard, who approved it, and of course, depending on your permission, because sometimes, when you have to do this reconciliation, you're like, oh shoot, we missed that. How can we do it? With Acuite, we have the ability to, again, depends on your permissions, but to unlock, to let the data, be pulled, and then you lock it again. But like as I said, we keep track of everything in there. So yeah, this is quite useful, especially, like I said, for these tools that you can be using that doesn't have this sort of capabilities. That's why, like I said, we're trying to fill the gap as well, and it also helps use the source system better to make sure that you're taking advantage of all the capabilities of Acuite. I just wanted to showcase a couple more dashboards here, just to showcase how we can display the data differently, especially the financial ones. This is an example of a summary of a balance sheet, with the assets, the liabilities. You can have also a portfolio or divisional, cash flow dashboard here, where you can see your top 10 projects that have a positive cash flow, and unfortunately the ones that don't. So at least you can quickly click on a specific one to access the project and directly see what's going on. And there's also this capability that we have around opportunities. So we have customers that are using CRMs in order to capture some information about project that they should win, that they need to win, because they would like to have the data somewhere to show in the financial reporting, to be like, okay, we need to win three projects for this next period of that particular value. So we have expanded a specific widget where you can basically create what we call draft projects. So these are projects that are not in Procore, they are not in Sage, they are not yet ready to be created in those systems. But still, you need to capture some information against that. So we have the ability to do this in Acuite, and then you can basically how should I say, start playing around it's an opportunity forecasting, if I may say, to be like, okay, this is a project of 30 million across the next 18 months. This is how it's going to impact potentially if we win our financials and things like that. So this can also be used in that capacity. Yes, I think just trying to double check here. I think we covered most of it. There are a lot. I mean, I could talk about Acuite for hours, obviously.
I know.
Time, but yeah, if I just go back into the cash flow component, so yeah, you can have this project cash flow. You can have it consolidated with all your projects. If I put a reporting period to have some meaningful data here, as you can see, the solid lines. What happened, the dotted ones is your forecast, and then you can play around basically, and all this information can be easily exported, and you have different ways to do that. Some people don't want to, when they use Acuite, they say, but we don't need to export the data because it's right there, and when they go in a meeting, they just display Acuite on the screen, and that's about it. But for others, they need to have this the paper, because they need to have this record. Exactly, you need to put it in Procore folder, for instance, and it stays there. So basically, you can click on more action, export dashboard. So I clicked on the project dashboard at the very high level here. So basically, the system allows you, for each module that is activated, you can be like, oh, I want to export all these dashboards, because this is part of my 360 overview for the month, my PMR, my project monthly reporting, and I need to communicate that. So you can select all the dashboards that you want. Either they will be exported individually and gathered into a zip file, or you can merge everything into one single PDF. If you don't want to do that, you can just go into your specific dashboard that you just want to export, and you do exactly the same. Export dashboard. You have your PDF. You click on it. It's an asynchronous process, so you can, go back into another dashboard or another project or anything. And when it's ready, you will have this bell with the number here. So it tells me that the report is ready, and I just click on it to be able to have the dashboard, available in PDF. So this one was just a one-pager, so it's pretty straightforward. If I go maybe, let's take this one for instance. Yeah, just to just to show a different one with the executive summary here, for instance, and you have all the data available as well, with the comments like I showcased before. So this could be part of your record that you share and keep basically, and you can do that at basically anytime.
That's phenomenal right there, is the printing, right? Well, let's say a few things, because I heard a few phenomenal things, and I really want to put I want to make sure everybody's able to see your QR code just towards the end here. So we've got a nice QR code here that Hakeem put together. If you guys want to get a personalized demo or find out more information specifically for your use case, I'm also here to help you shop for anything that you'd like, or to hook stuff up to it, right? And so my favorite thing, so let's do the reviews, right? My favorite things are that we don't have to wait for that update, right? We can force a quick sync if we need to. Not that we are encouraging it, but we can if we need to. And then we can print to PDF, which is super exciting for a lot of folks. And the third one we haven't said yet, so I'm going to prompt you with a little question. So what happens? Yes, I can run the report anytime, right? But what if I want a particular dashboard to run on the first of the month every month and be sent to these 10 people? Are we able to do that?
So, sorry. So we have a capability. We have a feature at the moment that allows you to do, it's a historical feature, if I'm correct, the name is Express Report, where you can click and be like, oh, I want to send this particular report to these people, and then this can be done. Otherwise, having what you mentioning, this schedule notification, it's not yet possible. This is part of the roadmap, and we are finalizing the specifications because there are a lot of things that we are preparing. If I may, just something that we are. It's part of the demo, but just something that we're working on. But basically, for the people who are managing lots of projects or the top management, we are preparing this exception reports, where basically we will showcase directly what's going wrong based on KPIs that you define. It's like, oh, on this project, the score is that because the cost or the quality or whatever. So I want to deep dive into that. So basically, this will be part as well of this schedule notification, where we want also to be able to define, oh, this report has to be sent to this particular people first of the month, or the second Tuesday of the month, or once a week, and things like that. So this is what we're doing it, and it's on the roadmap, definitely, and we're looking forward to release that.
Hey, that matters though. And that's the one thing I do want to speak of. That could even be a fourth awesome thing, right? Is that Acuite is still building, right? So we mentioned even like with the types of platforms that they're with, and then the types of things that they're going to be able to do for everyone in the construction industry. So that's also really rad. I don't know if there's anybody out there who has maybe been to one of those demos, and we'll say, I can't really name call anybody, but we'll just say something that is name brand and has been for a while. Right? Those kind of folks are going to say, this is my product and you can take it or leave it. And so that's what they're going to be offering. But folks like Acuite and Agave, right, are still out there building, and they're interested in that continuous improvement aspect. And so that's important because it means your voice is heard, right?
Definitely. I couldn't have said it better. We are definitely focused on the construction industry, and improving what we have. It's part of our I would say values in the business. We never take anything for granted, and we just want to make sure that we can address as much as possible, for our clients or prospect on that matter.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again, Hakeem, for joining us. That was a really yeah, for sure. I just realized we still had our demo banner on, so let's get not excited. I didn't see any more. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, no,
Come
no
in.
worries. Like I was just saying, I speak a lot.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Well, it's a lot of information, right? To be
Indeed,
fair.
indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
So,
So that was
so yeah,
that was a good one. And we'll have it on replay and
mhm.
everyone can watch again, right? When they've had breakfast or something.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, thanks
Thanks
again.
again
Have a good
for
one.
having me here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. And thank you to everybody for joining us. We do appreciate you taking out your time. I know I saw Sarah earlier, so thank you, Sarah, for joining, and everybody else who maybe were just listening in but weren't able to comment.
Perfect.
Bye.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.
All right.